I get a designated 2 to 3 K-pop video per year. You're just gonna have to humor me like you would a toddler that really likes dinosaurs. I've already made the bold claim that 4th generation K-pop is garbage. I was hoping that it wouldn't become garbage, but it did. It's just kind of sad to watch. At this point, I am just sticking around for Stockholm Syndrome reasons and the random gem you'll find. I'm not as invested, nor am I paying attention as much as I used to, especially just because I'm an adult with a job. I know I said in my rating newly debuted K-pop boy groups video that boy groups went to shit in 2018. I think that's wrong, actually. I think it was 2019 that boy groups went to shit. The longer I think about it, the more I realize that 2018 boy groups didn't suck. I mean, we had, you know, Shine by Pentagon that year, Love Scenario by Icon that year. NCT was actually dropping some bangers that year, so I don't think 2018 is when boy groups went to shit. I think it was 2019. And with girl groups, like, I feel like they were still hanging on in 2020. I mean, they definitely were the only reason 2020 survived. But in 2021, they most definitely just were shit. Like, it went downhill. We are now at the point where boy groups and girl groups suck together. And I got a comment on the last video that was funny, mind you. I recognize that it was mostly a joke, and it made me laugh because I love dragging the song Sticker by NCT. I was, you know, saying how 4th gen boy groups were not great, and one of the comments were like, and of course this was once again jokingly, well, at least we have boy groups like NCT that release songs like Sticker to, you know, hold us over. But I do want to clarify that when I say boy groups went to shit in 2019, I mean all boy groups. 3rd gen and 4th gen alike. All boy groups went to shit. And that's what's so disheartening about this, is that the 3rd generation boy groups went to shit as well. Some of the 3rd gen girl groups are hanging on. They're doing their darndest, but it is a goddamn shit show. So I guess that begs the question, what happened? Why did K-pop go to shit? There's, you know, lots of different reasons why that could have been. Some things happened. I've been analyzing this. I've been thinking about it more than I should. More than that's necessary. Probably should have touched some grass, but I didn't. And now this video exists. So what happened to boy groups? Right after BTS's 2017 success, it sort of continued as normal, and then it slowly got worse in terms of companies trying to replicate that Western success that BTS had. Some big 3 companies and, you know, maybe even some smaller companies did exceed within a fraction of that Western success that BTS had. ATEEZ and Stray Kids do come to mind. But a lot of other companies failed. After a while, it did genuinely feel like companies straight up gave up on boy groups, because none of them were going to, you know, meet that standard that BTS had set for, you know, Western success. For a while there, all the boy groups that were debuting, and even some 3rd generation boy groups, were doing these same concepts, same type of boring half-assed song. You know, it just felt a bunch of copycats. Being a clone in the industry is not new. There's definitely, you know, over time within generations, a popular concept that will overtake other concepts. But it felt like 3rd generation was a little bit more diverse. It did give, you know, several different concepts, and I mean, one would, you know, dominate over others, but there was at least some choice you could make. And it does feel like that the main goal is Western success. Now, in the past when I've said, you know, K-pop has been westernized, I sort of mean 2 different things, and it depends on what situation we're talking about. Westernized as in, Either A, the song sounds like a Western song, like I'm listening to a fucking Maroon 5 or Dua Lipa song. I've noticed some boy groups, namely Monsta X, fall into this trap. But another thing I mean when I say K-pop has become westernized is not always necessarily the music. Because let me tell you, I don't think NMIX's Tank sounds like a Western song. It sounds like you put a raccoon and a bunch of garbanzo beans in a blender, but we'll get back to that. I just think it means, at least my second meaning of westernized, is indicating that these companies are sort of pandering to a Western market. They're trying to break into the West market. And it's very obvious that they're doing so by, some of the ways they promote and some of the songs they decide to choose. It seems like these companies are going the easy route or attempting to go the easy route, and some of them are failing because of it, just due to the fact that the songs themselves are either boring or sound like you just put a gaggle of bees into a can and rolled it down a hill. I'll get into this more later, but it does seem like in K-pop right now, the songs are either boring or gaggle of bees rolling down a hill. And there's no in between, and I'm tired of the no in between. I would like some in between. So yeah, with boy groups, companies literally gave up after BTS's success. So what happened with girl groups? Well, it's kind of the same. The same thing happened, but with Blackpink and Everglow-esque groups. Girl groups are trying to emulate that Western success that Blackpink have, and are ultimately just creating a bunch of copycat groups. And, it happened much slower, I think, than the BTS and boy groups going to shit. It happened much, much slower, but it happened, where now they're all the same concept, all the same half-assed song. They're trying to emulate Western success. Did boy groups and girl groups sort of have this happen in a different timeline? Sure, but it happened to them both eventually, and I knew that it would happen. As soon as I saw boy groups going to shit, I just cherished my girl groups until they went to shit, because I knew it was going to happen. Now, I will say, girl groups still consistently drop more bangers than boy groups do. Some girl groups are hanging on by a thread, trying to keep this goddamn industry alive. It's more often that I find a girl group song that is good, that I like, than a boy group song at this point. I don't just want to blame BTS and Blackpink for this. I think that's a little unfair to give their success the entire blame for everything going to shit. Is it a part of it? Yes, and acting like it's not is a bit diluted. So I'm going to say there is another puppet master at play here. It's the TikTokification of music. TikTok is a menace. I hate that goddamn platform. You think you're so much better than TikTok, Nick? Yeah, I do, because I hate that goddamn platform. TikTok is not just ruining K-pop. It is ruining music across the world. This is a global problem. People are now producing music with the TikTok, viral sensation mindset. And it is causing some half-assed songs to be produced. And I mean half-assed in that you can tell when a song has been produced specifically for K-pop, because there will be one part of the song that is particularly more catchy and has some relatable phrase that might, go viral or whatnot, and then the rest of the song is ass. You can tell when a song has been created for TikTok. And that is not even getting into the fact that artists are being sort of pushed to promote their music on TikTok and sort of forcing it. They're forcing it. They're trying to make their song into a sound, and they're promoting that song by using that sound, that, some relatable part of that song that they think could go viral. Here's a message to music companies across the world. That shit is cringe. We know what you're doing. It's cringe as fuck. Stop it. You can't force it. But how did the TikTokification of music affect K-pop specifically? Good question. I am going to answer it. K-pop groups are essentially just dance cover groups now. The focus seems to be entirely on dance and rap, it seems, as that's what, goes viral on TikTok more often than not. Because of this, several things happened. Vocals in K-pop nowadays are completely fucking abysmal. I'm sorry, but the vocals of fourth generation are so unbelievably disappointing, boy groups and girl groups alike. If you're new to K-pop, you didn't watch it happen, so I don't know if you know what happened, but I watched it happen. And it's a real problem. The people in these groups that are considered main vocals would not have been considered main vocals in third generation. They would be considered lead vocals or just a vocal. Any third generation main vocal would eat each and every one of these fourth generation main vocals up. And what makes it worse is that, like, nowadays in fourth generation groups, it does seem like there's only one good vocal. Back in the day, there was at least 2 or 3. It's always been a phenomenon where there's at least one member of a group that's not very good. That's not very good at singing, might just be a main dancer, because they can't rap either, you know? Like, that's something I expect, okay? I don't get disappointed by the one member that, you know, doesn't meet my expectations. The problem is, those kind of members are popping up and being more than one. There are more than one of those members in these groups now, and it's concerning to me. And it's sort of reinforcing the fact that these are just dance cover groups now. They're doing the classic K-pop thing where, like, if the person can't sing, they just make them rap, which sucks in this context because now there's like half the group are rappers, which, like, I already had to deal with boy groups, and it was kind of annoying back in the day, but now girl groups are doing it too, where half the group are rappers, and it's like, we don't need rappers. We don't need any more rappers. 2 max. 2 max, and if you're a 4-member group, 1 max, okay? We don't need half the group to be rappers. We don't need half the song to be rap. It's a K-pop song. Pop. P-O-P. It's okay for there to be some influences. I'm not saying that, you know, hip-hop has never been an influence in K-pop, because that would be fucking stupid. That would literally just be wrong. Rap has, you know, always been an element of K-pop. The quantity of rappers is going up and the quality is going down. And it's not like K-pop rappers, idol rappers have, you know, always been good, for instance. Like, I can name you a lot of groups where the rappers were not good, and they never got better. I don't want to hear bad K-pop rapping the entire song. I just want to hear it for the excruciating 15 seconds that they allow them. At the very least, if you're going to make half the song rap, at least have good rappers. Now, mind you, okay, my expertise is not rap. I'm not a rapper. That's not my expertise. So maybe my opinion on that isn't, you know, shouldn't be held to such a high standard, or, you know, shouldn't be held as truth there. But what I do know about and am proficient in, vocals. And these vocals suck. Every once in a while, you'll get a gem like Jongho from ATEEZ or Lily from NMIXX. But it just feels like we only get one member that's kind of okay, and then the rest of them are not great and or just acceptable and or they suck. Which was not a thing in third generation. Did some groups have questionable vocals in third generation? Sure, yeah. I'm not going to say that, you know, across the board, the vocals were just heavenly. Like, I can think of some groups right now from third generation that sort of mirrored what I'm saying right now for fourth generation. The problem is not that these groups exist at all. The problem is that they only exist. There are no vocal groups in K-pop anymore. I can count on my one hand how many of these groups are vocal groups, in my opinion. And it's also a matter of the type of vocal that they're using. And what I mean is, like, a certain type of vocal that would never have been the main vocal in third generation, right? This certain type of vocal is what I call no flavor singing. All they do is belt out the right note and nothing else. There's nothing else going on in that singing. It's just no flavor. And the problem with no flavor singing is that it is a delicate balance, because if your timbre and your tone is not good enough, you're basically just yelling in tune. At a certain point, it's not singing anymore, it's just yelling. I can name several K-pop idols that basically just yell. Something went wrong there. And that is the TikTokification, where they're only focusing on dance rather than actually getting good vocals in their songs. And what's even worse, with the more focus on rap rather than rap just sort of being, you know, a verse in a song, they sort of made it the focus, right? Because rap will go viral on TikTok. What sucks about that is not only are these not so great rappers trying to rap, but it feels like K-pop choruses are also abysmal now. These songs are not built to exemplify vocals. These songs are built to have one word be repeated several times in the chorus, but instead of it, you know, being vocals doing that, it's the rapper. So I call them yelling choruses, where they just sort of yell at you the entire chorus, and then the producer was like, that's good. Yeah, we should do that. I don't like yelling choruses. You're just yelling at me, bro. And it feels like it's cheating. Like, if you're a producer and you make a yelling chorus for a K-pop song, it feels like you're just being lazy at that point. Like, give me a real chorus, please. But they're not going to do that because it won't go viral on TikTok and it won't grab the attention of the Westerners. So I'm just gonna watch K-pop slowly die in front of my eyes. And another weird side effect of this, and this will be my last complaint, there really isn't any positions in K-pop anymore. And that's sort of what made K-pop interesting back in the day, was that there were members of groups that had certain positions. You were a rapper, you were a vocal, you were a main dancer, you were the leader, you were the youngest of the group. It feels like that's sort of fading out to some extent, and that's going to kick K-pop in the ass. The leader, I suppose, still exists to some extent. The youngest, I mean, there's always going to be a youngest member, but it feels like there's no vocal position, there's no rap position anymore. They're making their vocals rap, and their rappers are singing as well, even though sometimes they really shouldn't. It just feels like chaos. Like, there's no semblance of order there. They're just kind of making whoever they want rap, and then it is because they put too much rap in their songs. You're making the vocals rap now because you put too much rap in your songs, and now the 3 members that are rappers are going to take 80% of the songs because you do not know how to produce a proper K-pop song. Anyways, it definitely feels like K-pop is dying before my eyes, and sometimes I hold on to the little hope that it will, you know, recover, it'll get better, but at this point I'm also losing that hope, and I'm just kind of sticking to the groups that, you know, consistently make bangers and don't disappoint me. K-pop is committing suicide in front of my eyes. In the name of what? Failed TikTok challenges? For Jimmy Fallon to make passive-aggressive remarks and say mildly disrespectful things to your group on a live show? Is that what we're doing here? Is that what this is for? Can't wait to watch K-pop consume itself alive.